And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I'm your host, Wes Tankersley. Before we get started here, we're going to talk about our sponsor a little bit here. TVPBN is the sponsor of the show. They actually do my live show on Facebook. If you haven't checked that out, check out the show notes. Follow me on Instagram at wes.tankersley and click the link in my bio to help you find that. If you want to have an awesome live show that is produced for you, we're looking for partnerships and people to help advertise on the show. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the show itself. Success is something that we consider in the show every single time with every single guest. What does that look like? And I've been on a couple shows lately and had to talk a little bit about why I created the show. And so it was interesting to think about that and what it was about over and over again. And if you haven't listened before, you'll understand that, or if you have listened before, you understand that success is different for every individual, and that's why we call it Shaping Success. Success is something that is defined by you. Is it happiness? Is it money? Is it cars? Is it, just being content with what you are, what you're doing, no matter what that is? And so it's different for everyone. And I was tasked with that question one time, or not tasked, but the reason that spurred this show was someone told me one time they were going to be twice as successful as me when they grew up, when I was in high school, And I just sat there and I thought about that even then, and that's been so burned into my memory that was something that I've always thought about, and it was the number one thing that made me want to do this show, to help other people be successful and show that it doesn't have to be what someone else tells you it has to be. It has to be what it is to you. I've got lucky enough to be on a couple shows lately to talk about that and share that, so I just wanted to give a shout out to Tara Piper, who had me on a Positive Perspective podcast. If you haven't checked that one out, it's coming out. The episode is coming out soon. Also, I was on Living a Dream with Curveball, Curtis Jackson's podcast as well, and I got to share that story a little bit. There's a couple more coming out. People are starting to reach out to me and ask me to come on and share my story, which is awesome because I want you guys to understand why I do what I do. But one of the things that every time I tell that story, I've come to realize is that you put out good stuff and good people will come back to you. If you're a positive person and you put out positive vibes, then positive things come back to you. If you're a negative person, you put out negative vibes and negative things come back to you. And connection is something that is very important, and I've talked about it before, but those people that you interact with on a daily basis, no matter how you treat them, no matter how you act, it will come back to you however that is. Just understand that you never know that connection that you're going to make. I've had an awesome time getting to be kind of mentored by Mark Simo, who is one of the people that has been on my podcast a couple times, and it's just inspiring to see that people are trying to help other people be successful. He's reached out to me multiple times. He's trying to help me with guests, with show ideas, with just building this brand and getting it off the ground. So put it out and you're going to get good things back in. My guest this week was Maria Daniels. She's a serial entrepreneur. So many different things that she's done, but she didn't really realize that that's what it was, that she was doing that when she started out. She had a pretty tough start, went to college, got pregnant, had a kid, which is in itself really tough to work yourself around and work around, especially when you're, a single mom or not. That's a tough situation no matter what. You're usually relied on to do most of the caregiving, which I watch with my wife. It's pretty difficult as well because I'm at work, I'm home, I'm in and out, and she's doing all the running around and things like that, which I'm very thankful that she does that, but it is a difficult task. And then on top of that, to be an entrepreneur, and Maria has a bunch of different businesses. So the big takeaway from the whole thing was the fact that no matter what you have going on, if you want something bad enough, you're going to have to go out there and work for it. You're going to have to be willing to push things out there. And one of the things that I talked about with Mark yesterday when I was on the phone with him, and I've talked to Maria about, and just these entrepreneurial type people, I'm 40 years old. 2 years of this thought process for me is in the entrepreneurial space of throwing things on the wall, trying to figure out what sticks, trying to figure out what's going to happen or work and what's not going to work, and changing that over and over again is a tough thing. It's one of those things where there's a lot of times where you have self-doubt and you think that it's not going to work out or it's not going to happen or whatever, but then you start thinking about what's working, what's happening. And every time I start to doubt that it's going to work, something else happens. Someone else reaches out to me. Someone else asks for something. I've been trying to get sponsors on the show. I haven't had a whole lot of luck with that, but then This morning, I have a conversation with someone about getting a sponsor on the show that they just need to work out the details. And I also had someone reach out to me a couple days ago who would like to sponsor the show. So I have my first official paid sponsor. TVPBN is, I partner with them, but they've been sponsoring me for almost a year now, doing the live shows and running that for me and doing all those things, which is a pretty big savings when you think about it. But it's something that, at some point we have to have a mutual relationship that we're going to generate some revenue, and they'll continue to do it. So it's exciting to know that everything that I'm trying to do and everything that I'm working on, there's people backing me up. There's people who believe in me. There's people who will continue to support me and push through that. And it's an interesting dynamic. You have to bet on yourself. You have to be the person who's willing to go out there and do the work. And so that's what Maria did. She's thrown things up there. She's done so many different things, but she has a lot of irons in the fire. She's still going. She's still trying to push no matter what. And no matter what you have, no matter what, you think is difficult, you need to think about how difficult is it? Is it difficult for a minute or is it difficult for a long time? And so, again, there is no reason. And you should check out the episode with Maria because she has 7 kids. She's working her butt off to make things happen. So don't let anything hold you back. And again, if you're happy with where you're at, if you're content with it, that's okay. But if you're not, don't be depressed about it. Don't be upset about it. Be willing to push yourself out there. Be willing to work hard. That's all I got for you today. If you would like to advertise on the show, hit me up, DM me again at wes.tankersley at wes.tankersley. Click the link in my bio, DM me on Instagram, follow me wherever you want to find me. I'm everywhere, and I'd appreciate your support. And thank you for tuning in and being a continued supporter of this show. If you're listening to this, please like, share, and review it. Help me to grow it. Have a great day.